All right, so I'm fucking dying. The amount of detail to get this piece of the platform up has been diabolical. But I have, I feel like I've hit a groove with Codex. Like I've been able to
Mm.
really marshal it and keep the queue hot. Like I've kind of managed to have it so that all day today there was something burning in the queue. Like it was almost always busy.
Ah,
Um,
cool. Spinning plates.
Yeah, that's the game, right? Like I don't know if you've
Yeah.
seen those game shows where they teach a novice to spin a room full of plates, and it looks absolutely hopeless at the start, like they can't even spin one, and
Yeah.
then by the end of it, they got the whole thing going, right? So it's sort of like that. Um, so that's cool. I got the this page up where you have like all the stuff loading now. What except for the home because probably because it's a demo. Um, there are some. Let me start that again. There are some bugs in the way that it communicates with Artifact, like it slams the server with like 100 different requests all the time, which is, it's all just time, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, here's repos. These are all the legitimate repos that are loading.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you can see branches is sort of legitimate, like it is connected, but it's not like all the features connected.
Mm-hmm.
Files, uh, I mean, these are the legitimate files that you're browsing on the repo. Naps is still fake because I think I know how to install a nap in a repo, um, but still haven't properly hit that. Processes is completely fake. Events completely fake. Settings completely fake, but will be populated. Um, yeah, it's still. I'm just trying to. I've just been going round and round and round trying to get everything to work together, finding bugs and stuff in the way that I set up frames.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's been pretty awful to be honest. But I mean, it is only one day, 2 days. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I'm still on it.
Yeah.
It's just
It
fucking
looks like progress to me. It looks like might feel like nibbling, but that's in the last 2 days quite a jump forward.
yeah. It's funny. Like it's hard to know how fast is now when Codex runs and runs good. It runs like all the time, and it's like what is slow. Like that's the yeah.
Yeah.
It's it's really hard to know, and it's very unnerving because it's like I don't have a baseline. I don't have anything to ground off of to be like, yeah, that's what fast looks like, or that's yes, you are doing it as fast as you can, and things like that. So I don't know. I can share a few of the lessons that I learned so far with Codex. I mean, those are always
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
So I spent maybe 2, possibly 3 hours today chasing a bug that I feel like Codex maybe would have spotted if it had a higher level thread that was watching out for those sorts of things. Like if it sees me doing multiple queries that are poking at the same area, like
Mm-hmm.
don't just do what I ask, like think about why am I poking at that area?
Mm-hmm.
Um, try and solve the deeper problem, I guess. Um,
Right. Oh, yeah. Or even prompt you about your questioning.
yeah, or ask a question. It's still lacking cohesion between the threads. There's no, it doesn't, nothing sits there and looks at everything I asked for and then tries to work out what I was trying to do. um, it doesn't work well for things that are hard to test, like the interaction between frames and the the parent page, because there's not a lot of tooling to test that. It's also very hard to present that to the bot in a way that is visible to it. So the trick seems to be like, don't get stuck trying to solve a coding problem or a tooling problem that shouldn't be there in the first place. You know, like that break between the frame and the holding frame. Like once we get that right, no one should ever really have to deal with that for a while. So that's why I don't want to spend too much time on it, because it's like the bot shouldn't ever have to know about that. That's just a problem right now.
Right, right.
So
And how is it in thinking about not between threads, but what your intent is, or discerning your intent?
it's not very good at all. It does what I ask it to. It will do some extra work around the periphery, like particularly if I have set up tests. So if I tell it in the agents.md that, you know, the only way that you can make a commit is if the test pass, and so it knows to run this test, which is a very thorough exercising of the entire code base, and if that test throws errors, it will loop until they're fixed. But which is great, because it means that the quality of the pull request is very high, but it it still just does what I said, which might not sound like a problem at the outset, but that's really the key problem. It doesn't think deeper about what I said. It doesn't look at all the things I said today and then try to work out what would make all my problems go away, or what should it do next without me asking. You know, like forget about gaining insight from all the things I did do. What about trying to figure out what I'm gonna do and do that for me first, you know?
Yeah, if you've asked for this, then you're going to need that.
Yeah, and so I must assume that OpenAI will be working on that problem, but it also feels like it might be quite a challenge to present that well, because there's many different ways that you could present that interface to a consumer. You know, what is the best way? I'm not.
Yeah, but options are fine. Best is difficult.
Yeah, and so I mean, I still think that the fact that we're Git native is important. Like, it means that it is actually possible to comprehend everything all at once. Like, for example, when I'm in a Codex chat, I can't talk about another Codex chat or a group of them. I can't select a range of them and be like, see all these things. What do you think I was trying to say?
Ironically, that's exactly what we're trying to build.
Yeah, and so yeah, I guess I'm feeling a bit like those really are just features of ours that we want and we're building, and it's dangerous to build features that the big boys deliver. And so what to do about that, I don't know. We need this feature now, you know, just to get our platform off the ground. But it seems like really the key is making a mount point for the fairness agents. Like, that's all the stuff I'm doing is really just kind of not pointless, but it's all not. This is not the core thing. This is just like, you know, the platform that we deliver has to be usable, and it has to be relevant, and it has to be new and present a new way for people to get gains out of using it. But we're only doing this because when we insert the fairness agents, we have to insert in a greenfields relevant high value environment. Otherwise, it makes no sense. Like, we can't inserting, like, when, say, cloud was all the rage, like inserting the fairness agent into a cloud product or platform makes no sense. Like, we can't, the issue I'm driving at is that we can't insert the agent into a stale environment. That's why we got to do this race to stay current, just so we can put the agent on the surfboard so that it can then ride the wave. Like, that's what's frustrating about this. None of it matters. It's not the core thing. It's just the board that the agent rides the wave upon. And if there's no wave, you get nowhere. If there's no board, the agent sucks. And if there's no agent, there's no point. But it's like the wave, the board, the agent. And then that sort of timing is critical. Like, just like surfing, being too early is about as useless as being too late. But being too late can kill you. Being too early is just boring.
Well, in terms of the wave, I do like that. Remember that Rota Meister thing?
Yeah, that's a great one.
It kind of exercises a lot of the system, and people care about it. But also, it can be used locally, and we can try out the whole fairness thing in something that people really care about, and just deploy it, see what happens.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think that same system applies well to just family calendars. Like, there are some platforms and products out there that attempt to sell family calendar services to people, and they do okay. But a family calendar that could just, like, listen into your conversation and sort of tap your emails and your calendars and your WhatsApps and just keep everyone up to date. Anyway, a calendar that you could add to the family WhatsApp group and message is probably like, I haven't seen that yet, right? That'll be super easy for us to do once we have this base. And then, you're just chatting away and then stuff's coming up. You just take a photo of your roster, like that you get from Jude, post it in the family WhatsApp group, and the agent digests it and may ask some questions, and then busy goes around reconciling everyone's calendars and stuff,
Yeah, yeah. That actually by itself would be like super helpful.
Yeah. So I started to see now that AI is largely bullshit, but if you apply it in an area that is largely bullshit, that's where it's best. And like, fairness is a great one to put it in, because fairness is largely bullshit, because there's no real answer, there's no right answer. There's just, I ran out of time, I got to go do something else that'll do. And there's no point solving it ultimately, because no one's got the time. There may never be an answer, and that's why I think AI is perfectly suited to the fairness debate or debacle, depending on which way you look at it, because it's fuzzy, and
that's the whole point. It is fuzzy,
yeah,
and people are fuzzy as well, and they probably accept fuzzy better than an exact answer like 42.
Yeah, a machine, everyone would hate it, but a fuzzy thing, they'd be like, wow, that's kind of good enough. So anyway, I guess that's my philosophical dramas. I'm struggling. Like, it's a weird position to be in. I'm not sure if I'm going fast. I feel like I'm going slow. If you say it looks like progress, that's great.
Yeah,
Fe-
but
It
it's like you it's more than a nibble. It's a definite bite since today's deal.
Yeah, and it's getting faster too. I'm getting the feeling like it's almost like maybe like running the same team as what we had in Minsk.
Hmm.
It's probably about that amount of power, except the turnaround time is in 10-minute units,
Hmm.
so that's quite good. Um,
It doesn't get you don't get stopped at immigration because you haven't got health insurance.
yeah,
I remember that time, the first time I went into Minsk, that you wound me up. I remember getting pulled into that room.
yeah. Um, so where I'm trying to get to at the moment is I'm just making chats as files and trying to figure out how to make this little transclude bit be a file. It
Hmm.
honestly feels very, very close, like next day or two worth, and then I'll be able to store them on the file system. And then connecting up a bot is reasonably straightforward from that point on. It's just all the interaction is wild, actually. Um, yeah.
Hmm.
So that's where we're at. I just feel sorry. I'm sorry that it's taken so long, and I just hope that what we're doing, like, it seems so small compared to the aspirations we have for it, and I'm like, in my head, I know that, I mean, this is a multi-billion-dollar company.
And it feels very thin, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then this is what we hope to be multi-billion as well. But it's like, it's funny when you're just starting, and it's like, huh. Um, but I do start to get these glimpses of power. Like, I'm like, oh man, if we could like set up tasks that could figure out like what was the optimal country to domicile in, how to
Hmm.
take our current financial situations and figure out the best set of moves that has the best and safest rewards, so you have like optimized the tax paths, you're positioned strategically for these different things, how to keep it current, how to like just sort of have a wild idea and then this thing sort of go off and grind. I'm starting to see little shimmers of that popping up, and I'm like, oh yeah, like if we got, like, because I can see how I could have like an unlimited number of chats or unlimited number of agents, and this interface, because of the zoom in, zoom out, and the broad search, feels like you could start to manage vast amounts of data with it. Um,
Well, this is it. It's like motes of memory that you can pull in, and you don't need to. Because previously, if you've got a notebook and you think, all right, okay, I've got to go and do this thing that I last thing I did was 6 months ago. You've got to go find the note, read the note, understand the note in order to generate the next note. Um, and there might be, in your stack of notebooks going all the way back, there might be a lot of pertinent data. And it's reasonable to be reminded and go, all right, okay, so this title, that's probably got something to do with it. This title probably got something to do with it. Pull it all into a transclude and then talk to that.
yeah, but
So it's
also
really
having the
valuable.
bots doing that ahead of time for you as well, because
Yeah,
you can't
yeah.
remember it all, but they
Well,
can.
I mean that's a good point actually. So I've got this bank thing this afternoon. All right. So in order to prepare for that, I've got like a half-hour pre-brief where I put time aside in order to go back and remember what we said last time,
Mm,
even down to who did I talk to, what's their job,
mm.
what did they ask for, what did I say, how I done
Right.
it.
But it's starting to be like, if we could set up agents to sort of regrind over everything that's happened in your knowledge base and my knowledge base since that time, and then it's like it picks things like this is the best angle. You should try and do this thing, and then even as you're talking, it should be continually grinding to then pop things up and be like, oh, ask him about this, ask him about that. Like
Yeah.
it should go and read the news on this other person's behalf so that it tells you about things that are relevant to that person so that you're a bit knowledgeable. You got something interesting to say when you turn up, type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
As a side note, I've completely fallen in love with the O4 voice mode. That is really quite cool. It's very useful for sharing. I had
sorry, what
conversation.
04 voice mode?
Well, in O4 Mini, you click on the live voice.
Oh, that's that model is not just to be clear, that's not actually the real time one, right?
Yeah, that's one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not actually 04. That's those real time ones are always still 40.
Oh, are they?
Yeah,
Ah,
real
that's
time models.
interesting.
GPT-4o real time and 4o mini real time. They're all just still 4o in the voice arena. It's only 4o. I've never seen. There's no reasoning going on there, but they can make tool calls now, and they can do some background calling, and I think they can call a reasoning agent.
Well, that's quite interesting because it fooled me. I didn't look at this page. I went into O4 Mini, you click on the little icon, you get the nice looking circle.
Yeah,
And then
this is our Bible though. These models,
yeah, but
but the
the
new voice is gold, eh?
it is well you talk to it, and sometimes you get an immediate answer, and then sometimes it does that
Yeah, it
noise.
thinks. Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah. That's right.
thinking,
That's
and
right.
I was assuming that when it was doing that, it was calling another model.
Right. I'm reasonably sure it can call reasoning, but I know for sure that it can call tools like search, and all that. So
Hmm.
it is actually doing something like that. So these new models are kind of going to be really fun to integrate. So that's Codex Mini. That's the version of Codex that is available to us, the developers. They don't let you access Codex Full, but we can run Codex Mini and give the exact same thing that the web browser Codex. So this thing, we
Mm-hmm.
can have that exact functionality running on our platform.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the goal is really like we're trying to make a platform that lets you just combine all the goodies from all the model providers all over the place, along with your private data, um, and the naps, which are starting to feel like the tier 3 eaters. Like
Mm.
a nap is still useful no matter what happens. A good old
Yeah.
a well formed dashboard or a tool or drawing thing is going to be useful.
Yeah.
But these models are something that we haven't really spoken about for a mini, the transcribe ones. So these
Mm-hmm.
are like the next generation transcription accuracy models.
I mean, transcription is already so high in the 90s, it's not a problem.
Nah, but this is even higher. This is currently the world leading model, if I'm not mistaken, or if it hasn't been overtaken in the last couple of weeks. Um, so yeah, we'll hook all that up. That's all fun. It feels to me like we got to be careful not to get sucked into the AI race where we're trying to make interfaces and trying to make AI tools along with everyone else.
Yeah.
But we are trying to make a platform that's relevant, and it is supposed to be a place where you can rapidly make new tools, because I just don't think that the AI race permits you the time to benefit from a heavy build of a good tool. And so you need like a vibe coded tool that you can just get about and use because you know it's going to be thrown away in about a month or
Yeah.
two.
Yeah, an overnight success which is wiped out after 6 months. Yeah.
Overnight success to be killed the next day. Those are the types of
Yeah.
things we want. And then if we're providing a way that those vibe coded throwaway things can be offered with support, maintainability, the correct compliance or auditable data things, then that's really a great place to be. Like the platform stays, the overnight successes come and go, but the substrate remains, the support
Yeah.
remains, the all that stuff is still there, and that's really what we want to be building. It's more like an infrastructure than an actual front end, I guess.
Yes. Yes. I mean, the front end's necessary. Um,
Yeah.
it's necessary also. Front ends, it's not. We're not talking colors and buttons. We're talking about how to cognitively link humans with agents.
Yeah, humans and agents. And so the one of the other models of interacting with the agents that I wanted to talk to you about was this graph of decision trees. Like I don't know how to get it across to you or from you or to you or with you, but like I feel like when an agent is working, even if you did like 10 runs, it kind of reaches junction points where the paths that it could take can be like, it's not infinite, it's usually a small number, like one, two, or three. And being able to correctly understand what those junction points are. Because, for example, when Codex runs and it comes up with a solution and it does this best of n, like here. Here is an example of it's got 4 versions that it did for me, right? Version 1, version 2, version
Mm-hmm.
3, version 4. It feels like what you could do is take each one of those versions, get a bot to compare it with the origin, and describe the architectural changes or the strategy that make that path different from the other ones. And so that as a human, I could look at it and be like, I just want to know the theme or the theory that was being pursued. I don't want to know about the details,
Mm-hmm.
And so being able to get presented with that as a tree, like I'd really want to wake up in the morning and have like 100 nodes to crawl through where I'm like, oh, that note, good bit note, like they're all viable enough that the bot couldn't find a way to decide for sure which one to take, but that's my job to go through and pick subtle differences between what the
That's
bot.
that's an interesting thing. So between these versions, how different are they? Are we talking about one decision? You know.
They seem to come out as being themed. Like the bot took a certain approach that it applied throughout the solution. And
Mm-hmm.
so what I've discovered is I think I've gotten about 5 times better at dealing with diffs now because I can kind of skim them. For starters, you can look at the lines added, lines removed count, right? Different
Yeah.
approaches have like, I might like that one because it added less lines. Like that's starting to
Right.
be something that I like. But you can also see that, like for example, it might choose the strategy of calling the use memo function throughout. There's other ways you could do that. You could like use a reference or the point is that the bot's answers at least seem consistent in terms of the strategy that it took. It never mixes strategies.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what I
Mm-hmm.
really want is I want those strategies purposefully separated because sometimes 2 versions will share the same strategy. That's worthless. I want distinct strategies because they're different. Like, I want it to keep going until it's got 5 distinct strategies, not just
Right.
randomness allowed it to
Right.
have these differences.
Yeah. Right. 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 Of course. And I guess this is a matter of taste, but mixing strategies, is that a thing, or would you get it to know which strategy you preferred?
Hey, can you just give me half a second? I need to
Of course. Yeah.
make
No
a
worries.
call. Mate, I better just. Mate, I gotta go. I think something. I think something not great has happened. I'll be back in 5 minutes, or I'll text you.
Yeah, text me. No worries.